from going there, rescuing Gary, and standing up to this King Poseidon, huh?
I don't know!
Well, I do!
What is it?
I don't have the courage. Oh, Gary.
This is a little bit of a weird one. I'm reviewing a movie that's going to be theatrically released, but only here in Canada on August 14th. It's the new SpongeBob SquarePants movie, Sponge on the Run. Now, it is going to be released in other territories around the world, but I don't quite know dates. In Canada, it's working out that people will be able to go and see this movie in theaters. And I have to say that this is refreshing and light summer entertainment, and it's certainly family-friendly. Obviously, it pays homage to the long-running and very successful animated series, and I know that there have been SpongeBob SquarePants movies in the past. I saw some of the Antonio Banderas SpongeBob SquarePants movie. I can vaguely remember it. You know, I have to be honest, I didn't grow up with the SpongeBob SquarePants TV show. It's been around my life. I had the weird occasion to meet Tom Kenny ages ago because we were at the same award show, and he was lovely, and, you know, I'm certainly a fan of the creativity and the zany sense of humor and the inventiveness and just the idea that we have a sponge as a hero in a show that has been so universally loved and acclaimed for so long is wonderful. And obviously Stephen Hillenburg, who created this, was an exceptional human being, and he passed away in 2018. The movie is dedicated to him, but very, very smart and very clever, and so many people have been adding all kinds of creative bits to this long-running franchise over the years that there's a lot to pull from. And so when you see this movie from the vantage point of not being an expert in SpongeBob, it can be a little overwhelming because there's a lot of references and a lot of winks to stuff that's appeared in previous SpongeBob content, and you know that, but you don't know all of the ramifications or all, you know, how everything kind of clicks into place. It's still very charming though, and fans of the franchise are going to see all their characters, Patrick and Mr. Krabs and Squidward, and of course some cool Hollywood box office draws. I don't want to spoil too much, but I think everybody knows that Keanu Reeves is in this movie.
Hello.
And he's got a crazy part. He's a very sagely individual.
Call me Sage.
Good name.
I'm made out of sage and I am a sage.
He's got some good advice to give SpongeBob and Patrick, who are on a road trip, hence the name of the movie, to rescue a beloved friend. So they get into all kinds of crazy adventures. There's some mix between live action and the CG animation of this film, and the CG animation is made to kind of reflect the hand-drawn vibe and the feel of the TV show, and it's very cool. It's very effective. It gives the movie its own distinctive look. It's not super fluid and hyper beautiful like a lot of the CG Disney animated stuff. It's got a little bit of a rougher kind of flow to it, but it's great, and there's lots of great laughs that you're going to have just by the idea that everything is being conducted underwater. All of the background players are fish. They have this connection to how life is in our modern world above the sea, but it's all been transplanted to work under the ocean, and it's so clever. You know, SpongeBob works at a hamburger shack, and everybody just has to have their burgers in there. And SpongeBob himself is just such a lovable character. He's such a supportive character. You really root for him because he's really there for all of his friends. I think the message of the movie is how important those friendships are and how friends become our family and how we really need them. And so that was wonderful to take in. And I watched the film with my daughter, and we both had smiles on our faces for the whole movie, and we were laughing in places, and some of the music's pretty cool. It's not as good as the Dora the Explorer film, which we loved, and we also love that Teen Titans Go to the Movies. Those are like high marks, and I don't think this new SpongeBob movie is quite at that level, but it's still pretty darn good, and the performances are solid, and the story is cute, and there's lots of great character moments. This works for me as someone that's kind of a tangential fan or somebody that knows a little bit but not a lot. I think people coming in cold, parents out there that don't know anything about SpongeBob, will still get some enjoyment out of it. And I honestly believe that hyper fans are going to find a lot to love in this movie. Yeah, so I liked it. I didn't go over the moon freaking out for it, but I certainly liked it and enjoyed it. And I'll give you my score in a bit. But first, I want to hear what my daughter Ruby has to say about SpongeBob SquarePants Sponge on the Run. Ruby, what'd you think of the SpongeBob movie?
It was alright. I didn't love it. The story was really simple, and I think they could have added a lot more exciting things in it.
Oh yeah? Did you like the sense of humor in the movie?
Yeah. A lot of parts were funny that I remember. Other ones were a little bit, sad.
Who was your favorite character in the movie?
probably the squirrel because she's the only girl in the main.
Did you like the mission that SpongeBob and Patrick had to go on?
Yes, I think they could have told their friends that they were doing that better than they did because they didn't. And they were all looking for him.
Yes, SpongeBob just left his job, right?
Yeah. The crab guy, he said, SpongeBob never misses a job. Where could he be?
You didn't really watch the TV show.
No, I've never watched it.
So did you feel a little bit confused and a little lost by some of what was going on?
Sometimes, but like what I said, it's a pretty simple story, so it's pretty easy to understand.
Yeah, I guess that's what the movie makers had to do, is make it easy enough for people like you and I that don't watch the show.
Yeah, I guess that's what they did.
Did you think this movie was as good as other cartoon TV shows that were made into movies, like Dora and Teen Titans?
Definitely not. Because Dora's like my favorite movie.
And so what are you going to give SpongeBob SquarePants Sponge on the Run?
I'm going to give SpongeBob SquarePants Sponge on the Run a 7.5 out of 10.
Thanks, Ruby. Okay, well, I'm going to give you my score on this. I think that it's worth checking out. It's up to you whether you want to venture out into a movie theater to go and see this. Maybe you want to wait till later. But certainly if you've been hankering to get out of your basements or your family rooms or your apartments or whatever to go see something family-friendly like this, I think you're going to have a pretty good time. I'm going to give SpongeBob SquarePants Sponge on the Run a 7.5 out of 10.